And yeah, this is like the craziest part too. Is like we were, this is like I did that podcast with y'all, play the show, and this happened like very soon after this. But essentially, like like when you pass Chalk or pass a Windstar,
Yeah.
the Red River, and there's a bridge right there, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we ran out, like right as we were coming onto that bridge. It's like there's no like turn off. So I'm like, oh my God. We're going 70, so I'm like, I hope we make it across the bridge, or we're gonna be a sitting duck.
Yeah.
You know? And we luckily it's going 60, it's 70, 60. And at this point the guys are right all been asleep, and they wake up and they're like, what's happening? I go, don't say anything. I was like, we ran out of gas and I'm trying to make it across the bridge. And they're like, oh my God, I'm trying to give it anything. No, dude, it's like 30. Like I'm going like 40, 30. And luckily I had the trailer, so I had momentum. You know? And I barely make it across, but what's the first stop when you cross the border?
It did like it's like the
sex store.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
And so
it's the one Brian talked about.
So we make it to that off ramp and just pull over on the side. And now, do
you have your name on the side of the trailer?
No, we're good, man. We're so good in that sense. But the crazy part was like we're sitting there and I didn't have a gas can. Now I always carry a gas can, but like at the time I didn't have a gas can. I called AAA. Like it's just like 3:30 in the morning, and called AAA. They're like 2 hours. You know, that's we can get there 2 hours. And then we're like, do we call like the cops? Like to like, you know, because we're like literally just sitting here, kind of dangerously close to the road. It wasn't like there's an off ramp. We didn't even get up the off ramp. We couldn't make it up the off ramp because we're going 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All we could do was get in the, you know, like when the off ramp starts, that little gap.
Oh yeah.
The gap.
Yeah.
Like that's all we made it. So we're like hazards on, like summer's going by. And I was like, dude, we're screwed, man. And like, I was like, we're going to 2-3 hours for anyone to come up with. Everyone's asleep that we know in the area. So like, me and my bass player just took off, bro. And we like ran across the bridge back to Oklahoma. Ended up jumping across the highway. Like we ran 2 miles and like there's a gas station on the other side of the highway, kind of by Windstar. Yeah. And like buy a gas can. The whole ordeal takes us about an hour 45 minutes. AAA would have been there in 2 hours. So like I think I ended up saving probably 30 or 15 minutes, like whatever, somewhere there. But on the way back, the crazy part was like we met this guy in the casino, or in the casino, in the gas station, and he's like, "Y'all doing all right?" And we're like, "I ran out of gas." Like, who's gonna help out two dudes like at 3 o'clock in the morning, like ran out of gas? You know, it's like I didn't expect them to help us. And they're like, we're filling up the gas tank. You know, it only takes 2 gallons. And this like lady comes up to us. She's like, hands us like $5, and we're like, no, appreciate it, but like it's not the money. We're not filling the gas can for money. We just ran out of gas on the road. Like, she's like, no, take the money. I understand how like life is tough. I'm like, or whatever. I'm just like, all right, I'll take your money. I was like, whatever. So we took her $5.
You took her $5.
I was like, dude,
I
told her we were fine. Yeah, I was like, we're fine. She's like, no, take it. I understand. I'm like, okay. She thought we were just like, didn't have any money to get. Yeah. So I was like, and we like started walking back, and the same guy that had talked to us passes on the highway. And I tell you, he's going like 50. He's going slow. Like, me and my buddy are still walking back with the gas can. And he puts it pulling over. And he cuts our walk back in half. He like put us in the back of his truck. Yeah. And he like, we like rode in his, we're in the back of his truck, got a gas can crossing the Red River. I'm just like, what am I doing? It's so dumb, dude.
That sounds like a great premise for like a song or something.
Dude, I was just like, there was just moments. And it's funny because the bass player that I had that time, he's just not like a runner. Like, I mean, he's an athlete, strong dude, but like running's not really his thing. So I'm like, but I was like so antsy, so I'm gonna take a jog. So like by the time I had bought the gas can, pretty much filled it up, like he had gotten to the gas station. I'm like, I didn't even really need you to come in. I feel really bad. You walked out here, dude. But no, it was just one of those nights where like I get back and I'm like, do you guys enjoy sitting here? Like y'all have fun? Just like the other 3 guys over there. But it's one of those things, man. I like it was in July. It was like sweaty, like it wasn't comfortable. But nah, man, that's my only. Last time I was here, that's what happened that night. So
that's crazy.
That's not happening again. Yeah. I learned my lesson the hard way.
That hopefully, after you do the podcast night, you guys have a great show and you guys make it home with a full tank of gas, and you guys don't have to worry about breaking down on the side of the road.
That's the truth, man. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I should have known pulling a trailer, I'm not gonna get the same mileage, you know. And it wasn't one of those trucks that like had the ability to like adjust. You know, it just had its like numbers set or whatever. Rookie mistake, I'll say. that ain't happening again.
How far do you push your truck when you're just driving normally? Like,
No, I mean, I'm like it gets under half a tank, like I'll fill it up.
Really?
This was more for like time's sake. I wanted, because we had left here, had a great night, left here at midnight. So like our goal was if we can get home by 3:34, sleep till 9:30, like we don't feel as bad the next day. On Sunday. I always try to make, I don't say always, but I sometimes try to make like an 11 o'clock like church service.
Yeah.
You know, and like if I can wake up at 9:30 and not feel horrible, like I'll go, you know.
Yeah.
Thing. But it's one of those things where like I'm gonna try to do that tomorrow. But I just it's one of those moments I'm like, if I make one stop, you know, like big brain move over here, like I was like, the funniest part was that all the guys were sleeping, and as taken aback as I was that the car's running out of gas, I can't imagine what their first thought was when the car like jolted and wakes them up. But
this is kind of an adjacent topic, I would say. Whenever you were like first starting out, did you have one gig that you were like, man, that was like terrible, like it was super hot, or like something crazy happened at the venue? There was like a weird stage setup.
Yeah, it's really funny because like in today's day and age of, you know, whether you blow up on TikTok or like things kind of happen quickly when they happen, or you got to kind of grind it out, you know. And like I think Stelly and I are guys who've been doing this about 3 or 4 years now. So what we have that maybe those guys who blow up quicker have is a lot of stories like that. You know, it's like I could think of 10 things that have, like, you know. It's like, I think of as far as like painful to like perform. We played in Belton, Texas. Opened up for Colby Cooper. It's a place called Chef's Barbecue. Amazing food down there. But it was like end of July, and the sun sets right on, like you're looking at it when like you're on the stage, and it was probably 103 that day. And it was one of the things like I should have known: hydrate, stay cool. But I'm just back there drinking Mick Ultras, you know, like you know, just not even thinking about it and everything. I'm in a black shirt, like it was like just. I really didn't help myself at all. And that was when I remember like singing something, turn around, look at my drummer, and like I did like a quick turnaround, and I go, oh, I almost just fainted. Like I was like it's one of those things where you kind of like, and I had sunglasses on too, and I'm like, no one in my band knows that I almost just fainted right there. Like I literally like almost went, doof. But stuff like that. I mean, we've had a lot of, we had a rough one actually. Most recently, I call it our Green Week. We had a week where we did 2 shows at Riley Green, 2 shows at William Clark Green, and it was like 4 shows in a row. It was a great week. We were up in Kansas and Nebraska and Missouri, and it was just like such a fun week. And something always goes wrong. We're aware of that. Like it's how it goes on the road. But it was funny. We had just finished our last show of the week on Saturday, so we did like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in Manhattan, Kansas. And I was like, all right, we're gonna drive 2 hours to Wichita, stay in Wichita, drive the rest the next day. You know. That was a night where I told my TM, I was like, hey, thanks for all the hard work this week. Go ahead and like have some drinks tonight. Like just enjoy yourself, like kind of thing. And I told the whole band, like boys, y'all killed it. Like such a fun week. And so I'm driving, and we're probably an hour into the drive, kind of in like south of Manhattan. So it's really like back roads kind of thing. And I'm driving, I'm like, chilling, listening to music. All of a sudden, at kind of corner of my eye, I just see like antlers. That's all I see. And the like biggest like deer just goes. Luckily we didn't hit it in the front, because it probably would have hit the front of the van, smashing the windshield. Like would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God that it did not do that. But it ran full sprint in the side right above the left tire. Is where the head hit.
Oh God.
The butt whipped around, smacked into the taillight, took out all the taillight. I'll show y'all pictures later. took out all the taillight, and the whole deer smashed into the trailer. So like, we never found the deer though. That's the thing. So like,
it just obliterated it.
We don't. Well, I don't honestly like. I think it. We might have. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But like I sent 3 of the guys back to go look for it, because we had, we're going 70 miles an hour, so it took us half a mile to slow down.
Yeah. Side
of the road, but smashed up the whole like front left side of the van. Luckily, like we could still drive, but like just and that was a week I was renting a van, and so luckily though I bought the insurance.
Always buy the insurance.
I did, but the deductible was $2,500.
Oh wow!
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
no.
The funniest part about that is like right before we left, we played Will Green that night. we're about to leave, and Will's like, man, like, thank y'all for being here. Like, come on the bus for a second. Like, and I like look back, and I don't know if I told him this story, but I was like, if we didn't come on the bus, we probably not have hit that deer. You know, it's like, but and it's the funny part is my manager like calls me as we're leaving, and he's like, what a good week, like, so proud of you guys, whatever. And he's like, I think it might have been right before that show or whatever. Anyway, he's like, great week, nothing bad really happened this week, you know. And I think I literally don't jinx us, and like smack the deer. $2,500 later, and that was one of those times where I was so like just mad at the world that had happened. I'm like, what are the odds? There's no cars anywhere like on this road. We smacked this deer. You know, I was just like, what are the odds? Like, what did I do to deserve this? You know, I can think of a lot of things, but in that moment, I'm like, what did I do? And I was so mad. I was like, we're going back to Fort Worth. I was like, I'm not stopping. I'm so mad.
You got enough anger to get you all the way home,
dude. And one of my guitar players hopped in the front. And he's like, I don't really sleep in cars. And him and I just like, I drove us back and he just talked my ear off. Like, you know, that's like, we literally got back like 10 a.m. and I was still pissed. I was like, this is unbelievable. And the funniest part was, and I don't know if I'll tell this part, but like, my TM, like I let him, I was like, go for it, dude. Like have a fun night, you know? So he's pretty turnt, like, you know, like because, you know, you get a little night off, like not night off, like, you know, he's feeling pretty good. And when I say feeling pretty good, like it was like, you know, like kind of coming in and out a little bit, you know. And we hit the deer. He did no idea what happened. Like, and I'm like, call the insurance, you know, like call the insurance. And he's like, they're not picking up. I'm like, look at his phone. There's like no number dialed. I'm like, dude. I'm like, dude. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, get in the back of the van. I'm like, you go sleep. I was like, and the craziest part, the bass player we have up here, if you ask about it, he never woke up. He was asleep in the last row. When we hit the deer, we spent 30 minutes looking for it. Every single stop, never got up to pee. He fell asleep in Manhattan, was feeling good as well. Woke up in Fort Worth, and he's like, I thought we were stopping in Wichita. And I was like, and then in my TM, after I told him to go in like the last row, he woke up in Fort Worth too. And we took 5 or 6 stops. And we stopped in Oklahoma City. We stopped in Wichita to get gas. Like we stopped probably 4 stops to get gas. Like, yeah. And those 2 were asleep from when we hit the deer until when we got back to Fort Worth. And I was like, must be nice, boys. Like, you know, but, no. I mean, yeah, that's hard. It's a long story over there. But,
that was great. That was great.
It's just one of those things where, like, those moments, I think, really shape you as an artist, shape you as, like, a road dog, you know. Yeah. And there's a lot of folks out there who, I think I was talking to someone recently because I saw this video of like Coetzel being like, there's no road dogs anymore. And it's like, that's true. There's a lot less, I think, you know, road dogs. And I think that most people nowadays are afraid to like take a loss. And I think that's what I've learned the most. Like no one wants to go to a place, like we went to Denver, Colorado end of last year and we played for like 25 people, you know, it's like, but we played a great show and like, I know that they'll come back and they'll invite friends and, I don't think anyone really wants to do that. And financially, I don't recommend it all the time, you know. But I will say, I think that, you know, if you're not going to bet on yourself, like who's going to bet on you? You know? And I think that in those moments, I've learned, you know, taking those chances, taking those hits. Sometimes you'll get surprised. You're like, I didn't even know, you know, we played in like Salt Lake City and like 100. And I was like, I know there's 100 people in Salt Lake City that know us or whatever. And but I think that is a lost art nowadays is taking a loss, you know? And no one wants to admit it. No one wants to showcase it, you know? And you have fun nights where like, you're like, wow, we sold a couple 100 tickets here or whatever. Like match like, wow, we sold a lot of tickets tonight. But there's nights where like, I think everyone's afraid to take a loss these days. And I'm not saying everyone, but you know, it's a lost art to take a loss in my opinion.
Right. So. Yeah, for sure.
I feel that for sure. I feel like we have the art of taking a loss down pretty tight as well.
Yeah.
Different situation, I guess, you know, but you know, same in the sense too of like traveling all over the place, driving hours to go do something or try to get somebody. And we're always saying this, like it's always the times we least expect something crazy to happen, like running into somebody crazy or like getting a connection to somebody for the podcast. It's always the times we never expect it.
Yeah.
If we try to plan it out, it never happens that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, whether it's faith or, you know, whatever, you know, folks believe. I'm from like, what I can control is like all I can control. And I can just control how I react to a lot of things. That's basically the thing I've learned. You know, I could sit here and be like, so-and-so is doing this and I'm not doing this, but it's like, what does that help me?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And now I got a lot of respect for people who will just take the chance and just like say, you know, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but just have the, you know, the strength and the courage to go like try, see if it does work out. You know?
Yeah,
but
and I think it builds character and longevity for those that keep at it.
Yeah,
basically, because like, I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of people that, like you said, like blow up on TikTok, and then they will hit fame and get the big gigs right off the bat. But I feel like it's going to be hard to sustain that. Obviously, we'll see that down the road, and we've probably seen it a little anyway.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of talent that, like I used to be a TikTok hater. You know, I was like, oh, like blah blah. But every single artist would be lying if they said they did not want to blow up on TikTok. You know, like people could sit here and be like, that guy blew up on TikTok. It's like, would you want what he has right now? Absolutely, you would.
Yeah.
You know, or she. It's like, you know, I think it's a little hypocritical if people would be like, you know, like that guy sucks because he blew up on TikTok.
Right.
It's like no, like his career does not affect your career. You know.
Yeah.
And I think anyone, whether it's podcasting or any business, like you can just all you can control is like your own situation. You know. And so I used to be one of those guys who's like, you know, like wow, like, that's not fair. That's not fair. It's like life's not fair. You know, it's never been fair. It's never going to be fair. But and that's if you want to look at it that way. But in my opinion, I think just having the chance to chase it is like it's pretty cool. Yeah. And so, you know, I say that I've been doing for like, you know, about 4 years now where I've really been touring and that kind of stuff and taking my hits, taking my licks. That's what I always try to say. But no, I mean, I'm never mad about that kind of stuff because I would love to blow up on TikTok. You know. But,
yeah.
So how did this come about? How did you and Jacob put this thing together? Where did that pairing come from?
Yeah, I mean, so Stelly and I have actually written together a good amount of times. We don't have the same management. We don't have the same booking agencies. Like we're very different, but we just kind of been buds, and I think we have this very similar inspiration. Just funny, last night was the first night of this tour, and he was playing a song that it's a Sean McConnell song, and it's one of those moments where I was stoked on. I was like, oh my, I love this song, you know. Excuse me, and I think I walked on stage and like kind of sang part of it with him, and it's one of those like artist moments where we are like cut from like a similar cloth, you know, in that sense where who we like as songwriters and we care about our music and that kind of stuff. But it really was just like two buds being like, you know, wanting to get into bigger rooms, you know. We've kind of danced around doing it by ourselves in a lot of situations, but we'd rather everyone just have a really good time and put on two good shows and just try to make really, I want people to come here and be like, that was a fun night, you know, like both were fun, both wanted to be there, both enjoyed it. And that, I think we just two guys who wanted to both do that is kind of how we came together.
Do you remember whose idea it was?
Probably was mine. I don't know. Stelly's so chill. He's just like he's just like he reads. I don't read. What
a nerd.
No, I mean it's like we were talking about it yesterday. He's like talking about he's reading like a Stephen King book right now. And I was like, yeah, I've read once. Yeah, I was like, you know what? But I'm very like hyperactive, and he's just chill, you know. And so like, I'm sure I was like, yeah, I got an idea, you know. Like I can't remember exactly what it was, but it might have been management's talking a little bit about it, about a possibility of it, and agents talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Actually, not remember. I think my booking agent and his booking agent kind of flirted the idea around. But I know like they did that knowing that Stelly and I are buds and have written together, I think 4 or 5 times at this point. But no, yeah, we just really wanted to get out there and like you know, get in the bigger rooms and towns that we don't normally go to. Yeah, like 'cause I haven't been to Stillwater since end of 2023. Yeah, so I didn't even come here last year. But
yeah,
it's kind of sad.
So how do the logistics work of like a co-headline tour?
Yeah, so it really is like kind of market based. Like we're a band out of Fort Worth. They're kind of Houston, College Station.
Yeah.
They like we finish last. Or we play last twice, and they play last 4 times. Okay. It's kind of like market based. It's like who has more experience to market. So it's how many times you've been there. It's the kind of thing. It's not even like anything else. But you know, Stelly's been doing it for a little longer than I have, I guess. But
are you guys sharing equipment, like bands? Is it one band or is it two separate bands?
So this weekend, actually, my drummer was out of town, so I'm using his drummer tonight.
Okay.
And he's his name's Hunter. He's filled in with me a couple times, but 2 different bands. So the rest of the tour will be 2 full different bands. And really, I mean, it's pretty separate. We kind of split everything.
Yeah.
You know, as far as that sense, but it's really just like 2 75-minute sets. There's no like smaller set in the first. You know, it's just really just true split down the middle for everything.
Yeah.
So how does it work from a like? And obviously, you don't have to get into specifics or anything, but like for a venue, is this like a discount because you're getting 2 for the price of 1.5, or is it like a full like? You know, it's like you're booking 2 artists.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I think every venue is going to differ a little bit in that sense, but essentially it's like, you know, we're acts that want to grow and get into, like, you know, here in Stillwater, for example, you know, this is the biggest venue. This is kind of the main venue.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Big room. Like there's not really like a 300 cap room here or 400 cap room, you know, and that's kind of the stuff that we've been we started in, you know, and then the more we grow, the more we tour, it's like you want to start getting those bigger rooms. Like, how do you get in those bigger rooms? It's like, instead of going in somewhere and maybe be catching an off night, it's like, let's just put all of our like social media presence, like, you know, all of our focus and just make it a really good show. You know, I don't think anyone wants to go somewhere and be like, man, I had a great time, but like, you know, this was lacking or whatever. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but basically we just like, how cool can we make this show? Right. You know, it's like we eventually would want to come back here by ourselves, you know, but in the meantime, we're like, instead of waiting to that point to get to these bigger rooms, it's like, let's go get in there together and like just put on a really good show. And that's it's really about the show. It's like, we want people to come, be like, well, I'll see what that's kind of cool. I never heard of this kind of situation here. It's like, we want people to come to that and be like, whoa, that was really cool. You know, I can't wait to individually see him again. You know?
Right.
That's kind of all it is. But
and I'm sure it helps that, like, I'm sure you guys both have a pretty decent overlap in your fan bases, but I'm sure there's also people that haven't heard of you or haven't heard of Jacob, to actually, whenever they come to watch the show, they'll get to see you, and then you can kind of expose them to your show as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And we do have, there's times I'll see people, and you know, it's like, I follow both you guys. I'm like, dang it. It's like I was hoping either you followed me or you followed Stella. You know, it's like, you know, but and it's great. I love that we do have similar tastes in music. You know, our sounds are in the same wheelhouse, but they're, you know, we have different live shows and different sounds that we kind of draw from. But no, I mean, we definitely want to grow each other. I think in the process, 100%. But it really is to we're really going to places that we don't normally go to by ourselves. Like we're going to Corpus Christi. Like I've never headlined in Corpus Christi, but like, and it's a big room, you know, it's like similar size to this. And it's like, we're going to these rooms. We're like, hey, let's go play places that we don't normally get to go to. Cause we know we have like some fans in these markets.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, let's go combine it and let's just have a fun night. That's our kind of our main goal there.
I think it's a cool idea. I wish more artists would do this. I feel like it's probably a pride thing for a lot of artists, like difficult for them to join up like this. But I think it's great because you get, like you're saying, the exposure from the people that don't know who you are. But then if you are a fan of both, you're like, wow, this is crazy. I get to see both of them in one night, you know?
Yeah, and I hope it's that way. You know, last night was really fun. Definitely was a lot of folks that like knew both of us, and that was cool. And I hope they felt like they got a 2-for-1 in that situation. But I mean, we really, it's like I keep harping on this, but like it's about when someone walks in there and they grab a drink or they're with their friends or like, you know, with their girl or whatever. It's like I want them to be like, whoa, that was way more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Like those bands were stoked to be there. And our bands are like all good buds. Like we, my guitar player has filled in for Stelly. Like I've used some of Stelly's guys. Like our bands are super tight. I think you do have to be friends. It doesn't make sense to me if like we didn't barely knew each other. Like that'd be really hard to like have that kind of co-headline. But we're just, Stelly and I are buds, and the bands we're all friends. So it kind of just made sense. And there's we look at like guys like Parker and Co. used to do the acoustic tour in the Christmas time. You know, it's like we look at that and we're like, okay, how can we do that? But like do it, our style or something like that, or just do it in a way that fits us right now.
Yeah.
Things change, man. It's like the music industry, and I'm sure podcasting as well. It's like it's up and down. Someone's hot, someone's not. Someone's here, and then next month they're not there, and it's like. But I think just we just want people to come here, and this was starting the works like back at end of last year. So we've been really getting this rolling for a little bit now, and just wanting people to come be like, we both have new music coming out. We both have like we're posting a lot on socials, just trying to be active. And if we didn't have music coming out, if we weren't active, like it wouldn't really make as much sense. But this is kind of to say, hey, we got music coming out, we got all these things cooking, come have a fun night and let's party a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So who are you listening to right now when you're at home, when you're running errands, when you hop in the truck? Who are you throwing on?
Man, it's like really random right now. I listen to a lot of that Mexican OT right now. But I'm like, it sounds funny. I'm not a big, like, I draw from like 4 genres, I think. I love just like Mac Miller. Like, I love hip hop so much. I love like 50s and 60s country music. And like Hank Williams Sr. I love like Delta blues, and I would toss that kind of that 40s, 50s range where it's like that swampy, like Robert Johnson, like that kind of stuff. Like this really like old school sounding things where it sounds like someone recorded with like a razor, like But and then I love like the pop punk stuff too. I kind of when I had like a phase,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a TikTok trend a little bit ago. And it's like, it's not a phase, Mom. Like, I don't know. It's like,
I've seen
it's like, I got your picture. Like, that was like me, like, like in like middle school. I had like the hair flip and everything. It's like, but it's really those 3 kind of things. And then just Texas country in general kind of is like my home base, Ray Rogers, William Clark Green, Turnpike, all the basics, is kind of my easy listening. But, man, I'm not a big, I love listening casually, but when I'm like digging for stuff, it's usually in those corners right there. And don't get me wrong, like we'll have long drives and I'll pick like a songwriter and I'll be like, I'm just going to listen to their 4 albums, or something like that, just to kind of school up on it, learn, listen.
Hone in on the craft.
100%, man. I remember like the first time I went to Montana, I put like Guy Clark's entire catalog on, and it was like I had the shift from like 8 p.m. till like 4 a.m. So I was supposed to go to like 2. And I just kept going. So I was listening to these songs. Yeah. And like everyone was like, "We're kind of glad you're listening to that, man, because like it put us all to sleep." And I was like, I'm just like locked in. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, but I try to be knowledgeable enough. But a lot of my stuff is like the punk stuff is very like, I just love the energy of it. The old school country things, I just think are so cool. And then like the hip hop and the rap is just like the bass is very high in my truck. Like, I'm just like, I just love the feeling of that. But no, yeah, I mean, probably weird inspirations, but
I'm waiting for your the next thing you were gonna say.
How do you feel about Dwight Yoakam?
Oh, it wasn't.
Oh, really? Wasn't that?
I thought you were gonna bring up Hank Snow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hank Snow.
Do you listen to Hank Snow at all?
No, I mean, I know him. I really didn't know him until the Elvis movie.
Okay.
Like it's kind of where I found him there, I guess. I mean, the stuff I listen to is like, and that side of things would be Hank Sr. There's a song I wanted to bring a song. I'm forget about it. It's like, I can't stop loving you, Don. I'm gonna forget his name, but it's a song called I Can't Stop Loving You. It's like that stuff where you feel like you're in the 50s.
Don Reeves. Jim Reeves?
No, it's Don. Or if you look it up, the song's called I Can't Stop Loving You. And then the coolest part though is Ray Charles did like a cover of it, and it's amazing. And like and I love that kind of stuff, like the kind of the sounds of like the South and it's I Can't Stop Loving You. It's like there's a Ray Charles cover, but I can't remember who
I think they cut off my Wi-Fi subscription here at Tumbleweed.
Tough, dude.
I've been using too much on
See. I think I can.
Too much data.
I have it saved here. It's here, yeah, and just that kind of music in general is like, I listen to it very circumstantially. It's not like I'm just like casually.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey boys, listen to this stuff. It's like, But then I always have my phases where I'll go like listen to like Billie Eilish or like Adele. You know, it's like let's see. It is the original is by this is Ray Charles, but that's not it. It is Don Gibson.
Oh,
is the name. Yeah. I remember that song. I was like, what if we cover this? And everyone's kind of like, I don't know. But no, I mean, I try to just be knowledgeable about music. You know, it's like any job you do. Like, I'm sure you guys know who the big dogs are in podcasting, obviously, and it's like
the watering hole.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then I don't even know who number 2 is at this point. And it's like, Joe.
There's such there's such like a gap between 1 and 2. We don't even really.
That's fair. Yeah. It's like, well, that's a line of lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Yeah. That's the line there. Yeah. Yeah. So you're not worried about Joe. Yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, I just try to be knowledgeable about music.
So, since I interrupted you, what are your feelings about Dwight Yoakam?
Yeah, it's funny is my dad was a big Buck Owens guy, and like I remember hearing, "Well, it's crying time again," like that old kind of stuff, and that Bakersfield sound. Mm-hmm. I really haven't done a deep dive on Dwight. I know like the basics, you know. I'm just like I'm so like removed from. I'm not like one of those guys who's like, oh, that's popular, I'm not gonna like it. Like I'm not like that, but I think there's times where I'm like, I've heard enough of it, you know, where I'm like, I'm gonna try to find something no one's listening to.
You want to find what's underneath because there's like some really good stuff there.
100%,
that not everybody's listens to, and I can really appreciate that.
There's one song of his that I remember was like a deep album cut called South of Cincinnati, and I don't know if it's deep album or whatever, but
first album.
Yeah, the first album, okay, yeah, and that was one that I was like, that's an awesome song, and I loved that, and I know for some reason I know that song like line by line, but I don't know any of their song line by line by Dwight.
That's fine, you pass. You know one, you're good.
No, South Cincinnati, man. So you ever get South of Cincinnati? And that was the one I was like, ooh, I like that. You know, but
I should have worn my Dwight shirt today.
I know, I haven't seen you wear it.
Yeah, I know. I've been I was gonna go find it, but I was in a rush before I left.
So y'all are big Dwight fans.
Yeah, we just went and watched Dwight at Paycom. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a great show.
Who was the opener?
Ben Haggard and Ray Wiley Hubbard.
Snake Bomb.
He opened with that song.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow. He's like, all right, see y'all later.
So what are you doing when you're not on the road? When you're just at home, you have any hobbies that take up your time?
Right now it's TikTok, unfortunately. Just like trying to make TikToks. I like golf a little bit. It's funny, my TM's a really good golfer. Like he played college golf. Like he's like a stud. Mm-hmm. So like I'll play with him a little bit. Usually 7-8 holes in, I start drinking, and then it's a lie. That's a lie. I start hole number 1, but I really started drinking at that point. I'm like, all right, where's the cart girl? I'm taking some shots. Usually like 7 or 8 over at that point, you know. And it's like it's going downhill, and he's like just under par sometimes, and it's like frustrating. And I'll beat him on a hole. I'm like, oh, I got you on this one. And he's like, that's 1 hole, and like I'm beating you by 20 strokes right now. Like, you know, but I golf a little bit, and then I mean, I will say this: I'm not somebody, and it's probably shocking by how much I talk, but I'm not somebody who can just like sit still, and like I have to like sitting at home and watching movies just like by myself. There's no way I do that. Mm-hmm. It's like it just doesn't feel good. I write as much as I can. I love writing songs, and that's my favorite part about music. Honestly, is writing songs, and a lot of my free time is with music. You know, it's like I live alone, and I just I love like. Go ahead. No, you good. I love I don't spend a lot of time in my apartment because I just like going out and doing stuff. But yeah.
I
gotta hear this.
This is so dumb.
Yeah.
I've been watching Kill Tony a lot recently.
Yeah, 100%.
And so like anytime someone says something like that, I think of I want to play the sounds. Like right there, I wanted to play like the dun 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 dun, like the piano music, the sad piano.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it used in like that context. But I like Kill Tony a lot.
Are you a fan of Are you a fan of stand-up comedy in general? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, like I've actually, it's funny. I've never been to like it's not called a concert, is it? Is it a concert?
Show.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm dumb. Sorry. Yeah. I've never like been to a show, but I've watched a lot of like stand-up comedy. I think Shane Gillis is really funny. Like obviously everybody else, like
it's kind of crazy. You don't even really have to go to a show.
I know, and like
to see like tons of good comedy.
Do y'all think that like takes away from, we'll say, ticket sales, or does it take away from?
So how I've
does it
always
help it?
how I've always heard it when I've heard them on podcasts, it's basically every time they put out a special, it's basically like they're trying to advertise for their shows. Like that's their advertisement.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And after they put out a special, they kill that hour. Like they won't do those jokes again because you can't do the same joke unless you're Bert Kreischer with the one story. They always do a new hour whenever they go and put.
I think too, it's kind of like music. Like you're gonna have fans that don't like. There's some people that just don't care about seeing an artist live. Like they may love the artist, like a song they put out, but they don't want to go see them live.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is kind of true for comedy. Like I'll watch a stand-up special, but if they're anywhere near, I'm gonna go see them too.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the same way with an artist. Like if I love an artist, I'm gonna go see him.
This sounds so funny, but like everyone I find on TikTok is usually, well, every comedian I find is usually on TikTok, and I go look at their tickets and they're always sold out. Like I don't know why. It might be just a comedy thing, but you know, a guy I like right now is that Morgan J guy who like walks around and, like does auto tune.
Oh yeah,
you talk about?
yeah.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Check it out. He's hilarious. Like he'll
sing like songs like
that is hilarious.
"What you doing tonight?"
Yeah. Are you a goofy guy? like, dude, like that stuff is hilarious to me, and I would want to go see him just to be in the crowd and be like just like be a part of it. You know?
Yeah.
Like the narcissist I am, but like.
Let me see if I can pull one up.
And I feel like there's more crowd work people now too that do like a lot of like they actually like interact with the crowd and like kind of off the cuff stuff. Like
I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Yeah, I think that's all cool. I mean, I think comedy is at a really good place right now. It seems like as far as the eyes on it. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, you do a couple funny videos and you can sell some tickets. Yeah.
Is this Rihanna with the
like he's just like funny. He's like goes around. He's this is really good ones. But
that's hilarious.
But he's funny. But no, I mean it's one of those things where I'm sure any comedian, any like artist will say it's like TikTok is stressful and like social media is stressful. We would all just love to like do our craft and then go perform our craft.
Mm-hmm.
But you almost have to be an influencer nowadays, you know. Yeah. And it's a catch-22, man. It's like if it works out for you, you're like, I'm so glad this is how it is, you know. And if it doesn't work out for you, you're pissed about it.
You almost want to be big enough to where you don't have to deal with all the social media stuff, so where you can just write songs and go play shows.
100%. And you know, I've learned it's like you almost got to kind of just live with it in a sense, where it's like in my situation, last time I saw you guys was like I guess it was September of 2023.
Yeah.
And then soon after that, I signed a publishing deal in Nashville, and then so I go there like once a month, just write songs, like half the time for other artists, and like just that has been such a cool like career path for me in a sense where
it was all the exposure he got on the podcast.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, they literally saw that and they're like, this guy's chill.
We need to get you our business mailing address. So you can
yeah, dude. I was gonna say yeah. No, but no, and then I will say like that being a songwriter, like almost like your careers are like separate. It's like I have the artist thing where it's like I'll try to be an influencer, try to like get this song to pop off and like go play this certain show. It's like there's another part of me that's like still gets to be that like kid who was 19, 20 years old, like trying to write a song, like and like that's I've luckily, instead of it all being grouped up in this one little like ball of like, well, I can't go write a song today because who cares, no one's gonna hear it if it's not viral, it's like now I can like separate it. And for the past year I've been on this publishing deal and they renewed it, and it's like it's the coolest thing for me because I get to go just be a writer and just be like somebody who loves writing songs on one half, and then there's the weekends, like where you go be an artist. So it's like I think separating that is really important. If anyone's like trying to figure out, oh, I gotta go viral, it's like like if you want to be a big artist, you gotta go viral. But if you also like care about songwriting, just write songs, And if you write 10 songs and one of them has a little bit of virality to it, go post that one.
Yeah.
But don't let I think it's really important to not let social media take away from the creative, and it's hard to like think that way. But I think it's really important to like focus on letting it not take away from the creative aspect of it.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite song that you've gotten cut so far?
It's funny. I have a lot that are like not a lot. I have a couple that are, it's called on hold.
Yeah.
But you know, which means like a bigger artist kind of have them on hold essentially. I've only been on my deal for a year, but when I was just, it might have been before my publishing deal, but a buddy of mine, Clayton Mullen, he was here like recently. Yeah. He's one of my oldest music friends. But when he was kind of just starting out, like his first 5 singles, we wrote together, and like that was really cool for me. That's when I started to be like, wow, I like what he's doing, and it wasn't what I was putting out. Like the stuff we were writing was like really cool in my opinion, but it kind of fit him more, and I had just as much fun writing for him than I did for myself, you know. And I still feel that way. Like I love writing for other artists, and another buddy of mine, Keller Cox. I have like 2 or 3 songs, 2 songs that we've written and he's put out, and it's like that's so fun for me to be a part of an artist project that I believe in and that I support. And yeah, I mean being a writer is like I love it. Like that's probably, it lets me like feel whole. You know, I'm like, I wrote a good song. That feels just as good as like, it actually feels, first of all, it feels 10 times better than having a video pop off. Like a video pop off, it's like, oh, finally. But like writing a good song to me is like, wow, that felt really good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so.
What do you have coming up in the next few months that you want people to know about? Tour dates, new music, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I'm like here talking about TikTok the whole time, but the first time I ever had any kind of like moment on TikTok, we'll say, has been the past 2 weeks, and I have a song coming out next Friday. It's like my first love song, which is hilarious. That I put out like 20 breakup angry songs, and the first love song is like everyone's like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm like no, I'm really proud of it. I wrote it with a girl named Jessie Alexander, and she's an insane songwriter. She wrote The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's written songs like Mine Would Be You, Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
I Drive Your Truck, Lee Bryce, like some amazing songs, and she's the nicest person. She did not have to, she's featuring on the song, which is really cool.
Yeah.
She definitely did not have to do that. It's very nice for her to do that. But it's a love song. It comes out next Friday. It's having a little moment on like TikTok, and it's been really cool. It's the first time I've had a song where people start making videos about it with their own lives. Cool. And like, you know, people post a song like, love this song, you know, like now like people like are listening to this 30-second snippet of it and making a video. And that to me is, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I used to like be like, oh, this is dumb, and then all of a sudden it starts working. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, but no, I'm really excited for that song. It comes out, and we're really, you know, I write, you know, 100 songs a year, and so the goal is almost every 5 or 6 months, or 5 or 6 weeks, put out a song. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. We had an EP come out in January, and then since then we're just like, how many more songs can we keep putting out?
Yeah,
you know, and just keeping it going, keeping people entertained. Like, people have the, you know, some people are just like it's like that. Everyone just like pay attention right now, then it's over, you know. Yeah. But new music next Friday, and then it's March 14th, and then really every 5 weeks, kind of putting out some music. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Socials. Where can people find you on TikTok? Of course.
Yeah. It's funny. TikTok's the only one where I got to TikTok before someone took Palmer Anthony. Everywhere besides TikTok is Palmer Anthony music, but on TikTok I got Palmer Anthony.
Nice.
So, and there's this guy, man. He's got 14 followers, dude. And he's not active. I've DM'd him 1,000 times. I'm like, let me have your handle, please. On Instagram. And I'm like, dude, please, can I have Palmer Anthony? You don't post. You have 0 posts. He's never responded. He's never even viewed it. I've messaged Instagram like, can this guy like, can we do something about this? Like, you know, and they're just like, nah. So it's Palmer Anthony music, everywhere except for TikTok is Palmer Anthony. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Palmer, we thank you for coming and sitting down, taking some time. It's been too long since we last caught up.
Yeah.
So we had a blast, and we'll have to do it again next time.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Yeah.